All right, everybody, it's 6 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order, please. Thank you all. Thank you for being here. Ms. Deal, when you're ready.
Mayor Holland,
Here.
Commissioner Messer,
Here.
Commissioner Finch,
Here.
Commissioner Normile,
Here.
Commissioner Taylor,
Here.
Commissioner Vogel.
Here.
If you will, bow your head in prayer with me, please. Dear Lord, thank you for this day and each day we are given, as we know they are not to be taken for granted. Please watch over us all tonight, and as we go forth in our lives, please see fit that everybody up here leads with servant hearts, everyone in attendance listens with servant hearts, and that we all work together to make decisions that are best for the town of Emerald Isle as a whole. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Please stand and face the flag. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, item number 5 would be the adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Item number 6, we have some public announcements.
All right, let's get started on our public announcements. First up is Emerald Fest. Come down to the Western Regional Ocean Access at 6:30 for a great time. Bring your lawn chair, but no alcohol, please. It happens every Thursday night. The next upcoming dates are July 13th, the 20th, the 27th, and August 3rd. Next is the Junior Lifeguard Camps. Week 1 is currently happening, and the dates for Week 2 and Week 3 are July 17th through the 20th and July 24th through the 27th. Police Educating the Public is happening on July 18th from 10 to 11 a.m. in the Town Board Meeting Room. The next Planning Board meeting is July 24th from 6 to 7 p.m. Our next Coffee with a Cop event happens July 27th from 9 to 10 a.m. in the Town Board Meeting Room. And our next Neighborhood Watch meeting is going to be August 1st from 4 to 5 p.m. All right, next, the Town of Emerald Isle is rolling out some new beach safety materials. Info on the back of key cards for the Islander and QR code beach safety messaging on napkin dispensers at local restaurants. Next, we are going to share our latest public service announcement videos. We have a new Beach Heroes video, a bike path safety video, a disaster re-entry video, and our promo for the Emerald Isle Fishing Tournament.
The Emerald Isle Beach Heroes program is a powerful initiative designed to enhance safety and foster a sense of community on our beautiful shores. The Beach Heroes program embodies 6 essential principles that will guide us towards a safer and more enjoyable beach experience. H. Holes must be filled. Remember to always fill in any holes you dig in the sand. This helps prevent accidents and injuries to both people and wildlife. E. Emergency lane open. Keep the designated emergency lanes clear. These pathways ensure quick and unimpeded access for emergency responders if the need arises. R. Rip currents. Be aware of rip currents and understand how to spot and avoid them. Stay safe by swimming in designated areas and always heed lifeguard instructions. O. Obey safety flags. Pay attention to beach safety flags. They provide critical information about water conditions, including the presence of hazards or dangerous marine life. E. Etiquette. Show respect for others on the beach. Keep noise levels at a considerate volume. Clean up after yourself and be mindful of others' personal space. S. Swim together. When swimming, it's always safer to swim with a buddy. Watch out for each other and be aware of your surroundings at all times. By embracing these Beach Heroes principles, we can create a beach community that prioritizes safety, respect, and enjoyment for everyone. Join us in becoming Beach Heroes. For more information about the Beach Heroes program and additional beach safety tips, visit our website or reach out to our friendly lifeguards.
Hi, I'm Candace Dooley, Director of Parks and Recreation here for the town of Emerald Isle. Part of the vacation experience is enjoying a slower pace while here on the island. This includes using bicycles instead of vehicles to explore the island. But if you are driving on the island, please always look out for bicyclists. When driving on Emerald Isle, please be nice and stop twice at all intersections. The bike path on Emerald Isle offers a plethora of advantages for both recreational activities and transportation. They provide a designated space where cyclists can safely navigate away from busy roadways and traffic. Bike paths allow residents and visitors to explore the town's scenic beauty, from the coastal views to lush greenery, making it an ideal choice for leisurely rides and family outings. By utilizing the bike paths in Emerald Isle, individuals have the opportunity to engage in regular physical activity, leading to a healthier and more active lifestyle. Safety should always be a top priority for cyclists. We emphasize the importance of following safety guidelines, such as wearing your helmet to protect against head injuries and using proper hand signals to indicate turns and stops.
It is also very important to stop at the posted signs and also double-check traffic. Some of our intersections can become very busy during the peak season. It is also important to note that at some bike crossings, the vehicles do not have stop signs. Always use extra caution when approaching any intersection on the bike path. You should never exceed 10 miles per hour while on the bike path. Sharing the bike path with pedestrians and fellow cyclists is a crucial aspect of maintaining a safe environment. Slow down and be considerate, especially when encountering children, elderly individuals, or individuals with disabilities. You should always walk, or when riding your bike, stay on the right side of the bike path. While the bike path offers a safe environment for cyclists, it is important to be aware of things that can cause hazards for cyclists. Things like potholes, uneven surfaces, and debris can pose hazards to cyclists. Stay vigilant and watch out for these obstacles to avoid accidents or injuries. Report any significant hazards to the appropriate authorities for a prompt resolution. Proper bike maintenance is crucial for a safe riding experience. Regularly inspect your bicycle to ensure it is in good working condition. If you are planning on riding your bike in the evening, using a light is very important for your vision and for others to know that you are there. Avoid distractions such as headphones or using your phone while cycling. By staying focused, you can react quickly to any unexpected situations that may arise. Foster a friendly and inclusive atmosphere while using the bike path by promoting positive interactions between cyclists and pedestrians. Use polite gestures and verbal cues such as on your right or on your left to indicate your intentions and show respect for others sharing the bike path. When you hear a cyclist call out, you don't need to exit the path. Simply get onto the right side of the pavement if you are not there already, and continue walking in a predictable manner. Acknowledging that you heard the call out with a wave or a thumbs up, it is the cyclist's responsibility to wait until it is safe to pass. Finally, not using earbuds at a loud volume is important for the proper communication to take place. Remember, our town has a lot of visitors that may not have much biking experience. Slow down when approaching others from behind and give ample time for them to respond or make way. You can visit the Town of Emerald Isle's website to get more information about the bike path. On the website, you can reach out to the appropriate authorities responsible for the maintenance and safety of the bike paths. Thank you for watching Emerald Isle's Bike Path Safety video. We hope that you have an enjoyable time here on Emerald Isle and a safe and enjoyable time on the bike path.
Are you a resident or property owner in the town of Emerald Isle? We want to remind you of the importance of obtaining a reentry pass. Hi, I'm Michael Panzarella, Chief of Police of the Emerald Isle Police Department. A reentry pass is your ticket to access the island following certain emergency situations. Emerald Isle is a coastal community that can be susceptible to severe weather events. Having a re-entry pass ensures a smooth and efficient return for you and your loved ones when it's safe to come back home. The re-entry pass also keeps individuals that may be up to no good or have no business back on the island in a time of a disaster. By obtaining a re-entry pass ahead of time, you can avoid delays and confusions during the evacuation process. It gives you peace of mind of knowing that you can quickly return to assess your property and resume your daily life following the severe weather event. To obtain your re-entry pass, please visit us at the Emerald Isle Police Department. Please bring required documentation such as proof of residency or property ownership, and don't forget to complete your short application form. Remember, having a re-entry pass is not only beneficial for you, but also for our emergency responders. It helps to identify residents and property owners, allowing them to prioritize assistance and resources efficiently. Emerald Isle is a community that cares about its residents and visitors. Let's work together to ensure everyone's safety and well-being. For more information about how you can obtain your re-entry pass, please visit our website or contact the Emerald Isle Police Department. Remember, stay prepared, stay safe.
Fish on. There you go. Get ready for your chance to win. Join us for the Emerald Isle Fishing Tournament on September the 16th. There's something for everyone with a boating and surf division. Everyone is invited to our public auction and barbecue dinner at the Islander Hotel and Resort. This event supports our local scholarship program and dredging. Special thanks to the Real Outdoors and Tractor Country and all our sponsors. Scan the QR code or visit eifishing.com for all the exciting details. Mark your calendars for September the 16th for a day filled of fishing, great memories, and your chance to win.
And finally, our next Board of Commissioners meeting will be on August 8th from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m.
All right, thank you guys. Thanks everybody for the information. Thank you, Mr. Cruz, for that extremely well put together video. Lots of great info in there. Thank you so much. Item number 7, we have some employee recognitions and introductions. Chris Powell, I can't see very far out there. There he is. Come on out with me there. Sir, can I have a microphone? Come on up, buddy. How you doing today? Good. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know, this is Chris Powell. Chris works for the town of Emerald Isle in our Public Works Department. Made a little funny last month about 20 years being a long time. I had celebrated my 20th anniversary recently. Tonight we want to recognize Chris for 20 years of service with the town of Emerald Isle in the Public Works Department. No small feat there, and these guys and girls are the backbone and the lifeline of the town. So much of what they do goes unnoticed because they do it so well. So I want to congratulate Chris and offer him this token of our appreciation. Chris, the town of Emerald Isle proudly presents this certificate of appreciation to Christopher D. Powell in sincere and grateful recognition of your faithful and dedicated service for the town of Emerald Isle Public Works Department. 20 years. On behalf of the Mayor, Board of Commissioners, staff, and citizens of the town of Emerald Isle, this service award is hereby bestowed upon you as a token of our appreciation and esteem. Presented this 11th day of July, 2023. Congratulations and thank you, sir. I love putting people on the spot, so.
I appreciate everything. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, Chris. Excuse me. Okay, we got a new employee introduction. We have Sasha Talley, Talley, I'm sorry, joining the Emerald Isle Fire Department. We have Reagan Roberts also joining the Emerald Isle Fire Department. Employee recognition of Travis Carroll earning the rank of Advanced Police Officer. Justin Kilgo received a grant for a new Sparky suit. And Sarah Deal earned her SHRM CP certification on human resources. Big thanks and recognition to all of the Town of Emerald Isle staff for the success of our second annual July 4th, it was held on the 3rd, Western Carteret fireworks celebration. It takes a full year to plan and prepare for that. It's no small undertaking, and our staff, volunteers, sponsors, our host, all the vendors, everybody worked extremely hard throughout the year and on the day of the event to make it what it was. So hats off to everybody involved with that. Simmons & Simmons, we just want to say thank you. They, day in, day out, helping us with our waste and recycling needs. Those men and women are heads and shoulders above the rest, and I can't thank them enough for what they do. So hats off to Simmons & Simmons. All right, item number 8 would be, Mr. Zapp, I'll let you lead.
Sure, thank you. Carrying on with all the recognitions and accolades, so as Commissioner Normile indicated for Sarah Deal, it's a very big accomplishment for her in passing her test and getting her SHRM certification. But we made a joke, if anybody's a Saturday Night Live fan, the 9-timer club, Laura Rochford, 9 times in a row we have received the GFOA Excellence in Financial Reporting, and for a town of our size and a department of really one person, 1.5, this is an unbelievable accomplishment, and it's an absolute pleasure to work with Laura. And I know that she keeps our funds and monetary accounting as in order as she would her personal. So on behalf of us as a staff, and I think we'll let the mayor and board chime in, but 9 years in a row on this recognition is just an outstanding achievement for Laura.
I'll keep it short and sweet because I know you don't like being put on the spot, but we're extremely grateful and fortunate to have you. Okay, item number 9 would be the consent agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Next up, from the North Carolina League of Municipalities, with a recognition of our law enforcement risk review, I'd like to invite up from the league Joseph Graziano. Yes, sir, up to the podium, and they'll get you a mic if it's not already up there.
Nope. There we go.
If you would just hold it up really close so the people at home can hear us, sir.
All right. I want to thank the board and the town for taking time to let me speak in front of you tonight. My name is Joe Graziano. I'm with the League of Municipalities. I'm the Public Safety Risk Management Consultant. One of the jobs that I do is I'm tasked with going to law enforcement agencies when they're willing to take the challenge and have us look at their policies and procedures. And Emerald Isle Police Department recently went through this successfully. We look at high liability policies within the agencies with the use of force, employee practices, training, and many more. There's 41 overall. This is backed by the Police Chiefs Association throughout the state. And tonight I'm proudly reporting to the citizens that the Emerald Isle Police Department has successfully passed it for the 2nd time. The chief and the staff prioritized this initiative and made this process a priority. I want to thank all their members of their staff and their leadership and the willingness to participate in this incident. They were open, transparent, and receptive during the process. Prior to my position with the league, sorry, it's kind of cutting in and out. Prior to my position with the league, I was with the Deputy Director over Training and Standards, so I was fortunate to travel the state and visit many agencies, and I'll tell you that your department is being led by a good group of men and women, and they're doing what's right, and I applaud them for it. So, Chief, where are you hiding at? Come on, you got to come get the plaque. So, Chief, congratulations. This is recognizing the Emerald Isle Police Department for completing the Law Enforcement Risk Management Review and proactively serving the community in a professional manner while taking steps to minimize risks to your citizens and officers.
you, Mr. Graziano. We appreciate everything the league does to support us, and Chief and all of the Emerald Isle Police Department staff, can't thank you enough. Tremendous job. All right, next up would be the commercial site plan permit for Watson Matthews Real Estate Office. Got Bob Clark, interim planner, in attendance. There you are.
How about the Board of Elections?
Oh, excuse me.
Number 11.
Did I miss it?
Yeah.
Oh, whoa, I'm sorry, I checked off my item too early. I apologize. Next up is a presentation from the Board of Elections. Caitlin Sabadish is the Director of Elections. I apologize for jumping the gun there. I got ahead of myself.
Caitlin's like, shoot.
Thank you both for keeping me in line.
Oh, no. My agenda. All right. Yes, my name is Caitlin Sabadish. I'm the Director of Elections for Carteret County. I'm here just to talk to you about the upcoming 2023 municipal election. I'm going around to all the municipalities and specifically highlighting the election structure in each municipality. I actually live in Emerald Isle, so not to pick favorites, but y'all are my favorite. So I'm just going to cover what our terms look like here locally. Who are we electing in November? What are some of the important dates? What should you be looking forward to and anticipating come November? So just to kick it off, we do have a mayor, obviously, in Emerald Isle. That is a 4-year term, and we also have 5 commissioners. They also run 4-year terms. The way that the schedule is run is that each municipal election, we elect 3 at a time. So the person with, or the candidate with the lowest number of votes runs a 2-year term. So that's how we get 5 commissioners electing 3 each election. As far as resignations and appointments, if a seat is vacated, there are no unexpired terms. So if a seat is vacated, the board appoints someone to fill the remainder of that term until its expiration. So there is no appointment until the next regularly scheduled municipal election. It's through the expiration of that term. Not all municipalities are created equal. So there are a lot of municipalities in Carteret County that operate their elections differently, and that is outlined in the town charter. Here in Emerald Isle, we also operate on a nonpartisan plurality. So when you go to vote in your municipal election in November, you're not going to see party affiliations on your ballot. These are all nonpartisan seats, and actually every seat in Carteret County for municipal elections, your town council, your mayor, are all nonpartisan. We get a lot of calls come November that, people look at their sample ballots and they don't see party affiliation on the ballot. Well, don't expect that come November. It won't be there. These are nonpartisan seats, so just keep that in mind. Looking at this upcoming November 2023, we are only electing 3 commissioner seats. Okay, so 3 will be up. Mayor won't come around until 2025. So you guys are voting for 3 town council members or town commissioner members this November. Candidate filing is happening right now. That kicked off on July 7th at noon, and it will run through July 21st at noon. Those are hard deadlines, so if you are interested in running for office in your municipality, come by and see us, or if you know someone, send them our way. Candidates must be over the age of 18. They must be registered to vote. They must reside within the jurisdiction that they represent. So they have to live within Emerald Isle city limits in order to become a candidate. There is a $5 filing fee for any candidates that are running, cash or check only, no credit cards. I know it might break the bank, but no credit cards, just cash or check. And you have to file in person at the Board of Elections office in Beaufort. So you can't mail those forms into us and file for office. On the same token, voting and eligibility. For municipal elections, you have to live within city limits. A lot of people see that there's an election happening, they want to get involved, they want to vote, and they live outside of city limits. So unfortunately, they are ineligible to vote in a municipal election if they live outside the municipality. And a lot of people don't know whether or not they live in a municipality or not. You would be surprised at the number of phone calls that we get. So to combat that, we have a QR code. My Deputy Director, Margot Burke, she has extra copies of everything that I'm going to be referencing, and we'll leave those copies on that table over there. So feel free to pick up a copy on your way out tonight. When you go to this QR code, you'll just type in your address. It will show you whether or not you live within city limits. It will also show you who your representatives are for your local municipality and also for your county district. So county commissioners and Board of Education representatives. Those that are looking to vote this November, the town does allow absentee voting. Absentee voting is actually a resolution that's passed by the town that allows us to vote by absentee. We are lucky enough to have in Carteret County, every single municipality has the ability to vote by mail, and that's decided by the town itself. So absentee by mail is happening for this municipal election. We will also have early voting. Those dates will be decided by our 5-member bipartisan board next month at our regularly scheduled board meeting. I also encourage you guys to attend those meetings. They're every first Wednesday of the month. So come by and see us if you're headed to Beaufort. The early voting sites and locations will be decided next month. Typically, the closest early voting site to Emerald Isle is over at Western Park in Cape Carteret. So that's going to be the closest location to you all, but we also do have a site at Fort Benjamin Park in Newport and also a site at our office in Beaufort. Election day is November 7th. You will go to your community building right next door. That is your election day precinct. During one-stop early voting, you can go to any one of the 3 sites. But if you're wanting to vote on election day, you have to go to your election day precinct. The voter registration deadline is October 13th of this year for this municipal election. So if you've moved recently, if you have to update your address, if you want to change your party affiliation, make sure you fill out a voter registration form. This is a voter registration form and update form. So we also have extra of these if you want to take one home, if you're new to the area, if you've just recently moved, pick one of these up on your way out. As we are approaching 2024, we are looking for workers. 2024 is going to be a pretty high volume for us, and we are looking for people to work the polls on election day and during one stop. A lot of our precinct officials are aging out. We need help. So we also have applications if you guys are interested in working the polls, interested in working with us. And I will just say that the precinct official job is different than the electioneers that are handing you flyers outside the precinct. Our precinct officials are nonpartisan. They are employed by the Board of Elections, and they are the people that are checking you in when you go to vote. Those are the people asking for your name and your address when you walk into the precinct to cast your ballot. So they are not the people outside handing you the flyers and harassing you a little bit. So if you are interested in working with us, please fill out one of these applications. If you have more questions about what the job entails, please call our office. Margot is the one that headlines all of our precinct official recruitment, so more than likely you'll be talking to her about that job and what our training schedule looks like. So if you are interested, please pick up an application. So going into November, there are a lot of laws that have changed very recently, and that seems to happen a lot in our world, and we have to react pretty quickly to those things. So coming up in this November, if you haven't heard by now, in the state of North Carolina, voter ID is going to be required when you go to vote. You have to have a photo ID when you show up to vote. Also, if you're voting by absentee, you have to include a photocopy of your photo ID along with your absentee ballot. So whether you're voting one stop or election day, if you're voting in person, you have to show a photo ID. So be prepared for that. There are a list of acceptable IDs, and I can go over those if anyone is interested towards the end. If you guys have specific questions, I can touch on that a little bit later if we want to go into all that detail. I'm not sure how much time y'all have, but so going into November as well, we typically see a 22-25% voter turnout in municipal elections, which truly, that's not enough in my opinion. Municipal elections affect the residents so much, so I feel it's only right that more and more people get involved. Just to put that into perspective, in the 2020 presidential election, we hit almost 83% voter turnout. So of the eligible voters in Carteret County, we hit 83%. Of the eligible voters in Emerald Isle, we're lucky if we hit 22. So encourage your neighbors, encourage your friends, encourage your family to get out and vote and participate in this process. Emerald Isle is also, I won't bore you with too many statistics, but I think it might be interesting to some of you, I hope. Emerald Isle is one of our largest municipalities. We have over 4,000 municipal registered voters. So one of our largest in comparison to, let's say, Moorhead. I think we're even bigger in Emerald Isle than we are in Newport. So there's a lot of people that have input in the town and what happens. So the more people that get involved, I think the better. And I will open this up a little bit for Q&A if there's time allowed. But I also have a sheet that covers just basic election security topics. I know that that is a hot topic going around is election security, what happens to your ballot, where are the modems in the machines. If you have specific questions about that, I'll be happy to answer them tonight. But we do have a copy of the 10 facts about election security if you all are interested in taking a copy with you. So I'll open it up for questions if that's all right with y'all.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions about the absentee process, about one-stop early voting, about registration, about election security? Yes, Margot. Oh.
I always ask questions. You have a lot of residents in Emerald Isle who may, might be 65 years old or older. And with this photo ID, new law, if you're 65 years old and your only photo ID is a driver's license and you're no longer driving, is there any exceptions to that?
As a matter of fact, there are exceptions to that rule. If you're 65 and you have a valid photo ID on your 65th birthday and 10 years go by and you just haven't been to renew it, so it's technically expired, but it was unexpired on your 65th birthday. If it is unexpired on or after your 65th birthday and it was valid, you can still use that expired photo ID if you're over the age of 65. And that's a great point because I know that Emerald Isle is also a retirement community as well. So great question. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
No, you mentioned in your speech, and it was very good, but you said there were 3 commissioner openings and the newspaper said 4. Can you explain the difference?
There are 4. Oh, because there was a resignation, right?
We were getting to that question.
I think so, but you said 3, so I'm just asking.
Well, I'm sorry. That's the normal schedule, and I think that's a mistake on my part. So I apologize for that.
No, I just want to be clear.
Okay.
Yeah, we will have 4
There
seats
are
open.
4.
Yeah,
I
correct.
apologize. I misspoke.
Does anybody know?
No, the people in the know, they said 4, so I think we can go with that. Thank you.
Caitlin's in the know. She was going by the rule there. She had oversight that we had a resignation. There will be 4 seats available for commissioner in November. Anyone else? Any questions or comments from the board?
Caitlin, when's the cutoff date for people to register?
The registration deadline is October 13th at 5 p.m.
And that's to register to...
It's to register to vote. Are you
vote.
asking?
Register to vote, yes.
Be an elected official. What is that?
The candidate filing deadline is July 21st at noon, and that's a hard deadline. It ends at noon on July 21st. The voter registration deadline is October 13th, but those of you that are interested in early voting, you can register and vote during one-stop early voting.
Anyone else? Questions? Caitlin, thank you so much. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
All right, now I'm caught back up and not jumping ahead. I'll invite Bob Clark, our interim planner, to discuss a commercial site plan permit for Watson Matthews Real Estate. I don't think we're there yet. On the bottom? Yes, sir.
Thank you.
There we go.
Again, thank you for that. And the item tonight, the planning staff, basically this application was filed for a commercial use plan for 9008 Reed Drive. It's been a few years, as I understand, since the commercial site plan has come before the board. But the permission authority for these types of projects, anything over 1,000 square feet, does come before the Board of Commissioners following a fairly extensive review by technical review committee of all the various agencies and staff, as well as the planning board, and that process has gone through completion. The plans have been massaged, but basically it does concern a slightly less than 3,000 square foot building and new construction. It's going to be going on the site of the current Brightspeed utility, which is between Emerald Boulevard and Reed. And it's a project that will involve a fair amount of regrading of the property. There will be retaining a buffer yard along Emerald Boulevard, as well as some new vegetation and meeting the 15% vegetation requirements for commercial code. This project was designed by Tidewater. There is a representative here tonight to address any questions the board may have as well from the applicant. And the project is it appears to meet the various requirements of the code. And the planning board at its June 26th meeting did recommend unanimously the approval of this by the board. Certainly can answer any questions you may have in terms of specifics. The that also included, there was one recusal on the board for possible conflict of being involved in the project, but otherwise a unanimous decision. The project is has been through all requirements, including we have received the stormwater reviews and approvals for this site as well. Staff will try to answer any questions you have and go from there.
Thanks, sir. Thank you, Mr. Clark. Any questions from the board for Mr. Clark? All right. Thank you, sir, for that information. With all that being said, if there's no discussion, I'll ask for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the commercial site plan application as recommended by the planning board.
Motion's on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. All right, next up, we'll ask Interim Fire Chief Billy Mathias to the podium for some fire and beach safety updates.
Good evening, Commissioners, residents. Thank you for having us here tonight. I'm going to first turn this over to Captain Justin Gilgo to speak on some fire prevention efforts that we undertook here in Emerald Isle in the month of June, and then his awarding of a FM Global grant.
Good afternoon, everybody. I applied for a grant with the Office of State Fire Marshal back in February for smoke alarms for the residents of the town of Emerald Isle. It's the first time we've ever put in for this grant. We were awarded 102 smoke detectors, free of charge to us. And we went out in June 2nd was Smoke Alarm Saturday, and we installed 46 smoke detectors throughout the town for people that either didn't have any in their home or they were either over 10 years old. So the expiration date had already passed. So we've done a good job on that. Also, since Captain Bruce Norman retired, I was tasked with fire prevention in the town. And I've been trying to update our fire prevention with the kids and everything. And last year we saw over 962 kids and 469 adults through the whole year for fire prevention. This year we are going to bust these numbers. I mean, they're going to probably double. So we have an old Sparky costume that is in need of repair. So I was looking online for grants and try to save the town some money and come across an FM Global grant. And a couple of weeks ago, we were awarded $3,000 to go towards a new Sparky outfit for the town. So we're going to keep that. So I appreciate it.
Great job, Justin. As he mentioned, he has been, took the bull by the horns for fire prevention. We love educating the youth. We love educating the public, the citizens, anything that we can do. Obviously, we're going to try to do that. We're going to continue to make progress forward. As far as an update for beach safety, I do have a few numbers. Excuse me. Got a lot of numbers. So on beach safety aspect, from July 1st to July 4th, so those 4 days, we did have a total of 16 water rescue calls. So the first and second, we had yellow flags. The third and fourth, we did have red flags. And believe it or not, most of those calls did occur on those, the first and second. We only had, I believe, 6 calls between the third and the fourth with 3 victims, and we had a total of 7 victims pulled from the water. Between those 4 days, we had 791 educational briefings and over 300 warned swimmers warned during those 4 days as well of potential marine hazards, rip currents out there in the water. Switching over to our EMS division in the fire department, we now have on staff 10 full-time paramedics. We have 1 paramedic who is in class who is anticipated to graduate in August, and then another one who's anticipated to graduate in May. So undertaking a 2-year degree to get their associates in emergency medical or emergency medicine. And then we have 2 enrolled this fall. We spend back 12 months. A lot of us up here, a lot of them up there on the front, town manager Matt Zapp, myself, Chief Walker, EMS coordinator David Jones, all sat in a room because we were at a dilemma. We had 2 full-time paramedics covering the city, this town. 2. We were employing part-time paramedics as much as we could. We now have 10 on staff. We have 1 more in August, 1 in May, 2 in 18 to 24 months. So we're trying to install a training culture. We're trying to invest into our employees, invest into these people, keep them here in Emerald Isle so they can continue to protect us and enjoy where they work and keep y'all safe as well. Aside from that, commissioners, that's all I've got. I appreciate the support. Matt, thank you. And thank y'all.
Billy, we thank you and your entire team for everything you do, keeping everybody on the island safe. It's exceptional, to say the least. I appreciate it. All right, item number 14 will be our public comment portion of the meeting. Before we get started, I just wanted to say a couple of things here. One, excuse me, had a couple of people ask me who moved the public comment to the end of the meeting. The short answer to that is I did. Why did you move the public comment to the end of the meeting? Not being funny, I had the option to place it anywhere that I wanted to on the agenda, but the reason that I did it, pure and simple, no ill intent, is that I've noticed over the past 18 months, public comment is at the beginning of the meeting, comments from the commissioners is at the end of the meeting. Not everybody heard everybody out, and I made the decision to try it out this way for a while so that we can hear you and you guys can hear us. has zero bearing on whether you can stay for a meeting, attend a meeting, or anything of that nature. It was a effort on my part to further connect the residents and the decision makers to my left and right. Only other thing I'll say is public comment is limited to 3 minutes. If we run a little bit long, I'll just simply hold my hand up in the air, wave at you, not telling you to stop mid-sentence, but at that point, kind of finish our thought, and we'll move on to the next presenter so that they have the same opportunity that you did. So with all that being said, I will turn it over to Mrs. Deal.
Irv Monclova.
Mr. Monclova, if you would, please hold that mic up so everybody at home can hear us as well, please, sir. Not quite. Try the other one. Let's restart Mr. Monclova's clock, please. Thank you.
How about it?
That's it.
Is that okay now? Yeah, the All-Star game starts at 8 o'clock, so be short so that I can get out of here and see the game. It's great to be able to openly address our town leadership, knowing that we still reside in a country and a city where our freedom of speech is still respected and protected as it was intended when our republic was created many, many years ago. I just ask that people come prepared with facts to present and do some homework ahead of time. Tonight, my wife, for 70 years now, 70 years, have been blessed by the Lord in so many ways throughout our lives. Gave us a great family, have great grandkids. What I would like to do tonight is try to see if we can make our Christmas coming up a happier Christmas. Now, I'm starting early because it's going to take time for us to get the necessary funds to contribute, volunteers to contribute. So to get started, what I propose to do is tonight present a grant of $2,500 to the town of Emerald Isle. And here's a check certified by a bank for that amount. And that grant is meant specifically here to the purchasing and development of Merry Christmas days for everyone that works and lives in Emerald Isle. The grant is divided into sums, and with the approval of the town leadership, I hope that goes. The two sums are very simple. The first sum is for $1,800 to be spent in 23 preparing for next Christmas vacation period. This sum is to be divided equally in the amount of $300 to each of the 6 buildings where our elected officials and other workers work and labor every day. That doesn't mean that those $300 is the maximum. You people are free in the directorates and the chiefs, police, and at the EMS, Parks and Recreation, people can contribute even more to that fund for Christmas decorations. With the prices going so high, $300 doesn't go that far. The remaining $700 is to create a separate fund for the future purpose of Christmas lights aimed mostly at the town of Emerald Isle. In other words, in the next 2 or 3 years, some people would think about town and contribute to that fund that will stay open, and it will be available to business owners, to anyone that has a business, or is the head of a committee or organization or whatever. That fund will stay open.
Thank you so much, Mr. McCliver. We appreciate that very much.
This grant then is just say thank you to the people that have my family and I here for so many years.
Thank you very kindly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Irvin.
All right, next up.
Randy Hanford.
Hey, Randy.
I want some of what he's been eating. Hey, guys, members of council. I had I talked to Jason one night about, it seems like these things turn into gripe meetings where we just gripe at you about this and gripe at you about that. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for your service. I really, truly do mean that. I haven't told you that before. There's just a couple things. So I threw my gripe list away right before I got here, and I said, you know what? I just want to talk to you guys. The format that we use here only gives us 3 minutes, kind of limited. And the problem that I have with that is that we get to ask you no questions. Therefore, we, the people, get no answers. It seems like everything is done today through email and email and email. No face-to-face talking unless we call you and have you come to us. It would be nice if there were some way that we could converse. I don't know what that way is. I'd be glad to sit down and talk. There's bound to be a way to talk. But one quick question, and if I may ask a question, how many people in this room are concerned about the way our federal government spends our income tax dollars? Okay. Okay, I think most everybody. How many people are concerned about the way our local dollars are being spent? Okay. So this isn't a gripe, this is a concern. And some of the concerns are vehicles. It's payroll, benefits, vehicles. I went past an army of vehicles on the way in here, and I know, I talked to my managers and my employees about the little monies. Big leaks are easy to find and fix. It's the little leaks that sink big ships. Everybody's heard that adage throughout their life. It's the little things. One statement I will make, Alicia Sanderson worked here for 30 years and was never afforded a car. And it may be a good thing, because when you start giving a car to one person, then you've got to give a car to another person and another person. Where's the end of it? With a car, here comes the little leaks. Comes taxes, insurance, maintenance, fuel. All of those things. And I don't know, I haven't bought any cars lately because they're too daggum expensive. Everything is expensive, and I don't care if you lease it or if you buy it, it's all expensive. Another concern is the Lee Street debacle at this point. I'd love to be able to ask the question, who gave the go-ahead for Lee Street to be started at the beginning of summer? That would be like me digging up my front parking lot the first day of summer. And then how did they start without proper permitting? How was that allowed? That's the question I'd like to be able to ask somebody, but I can't. I'd like to get the answer from someone if I could. Okay? The one thing that one of you gentlemen on the board told me one time, and everybody talks about this ordinance and that ordinance. He sat across from me and he said, and this was early on in the conversation, the one thing about this city that really burns my hind end is they don't enforce the ordinances on the books. So we just ask that you use common sense, enforce the ordinances that are on the books, don't start projects at the beginning of summer. My son lives on that road, just off that road, and he said Saturdays and Sundays are just a joy to watch all the cars that have been used to going down that road for years, having to go down there and there's cars turning in driveways and turning around. It turned into a mess. The other thing is Jeff Ward, a few months ago, read a list of the people that have left this city. There's a reason. People normally stay in city jobs for a long time. There's a reason that people are leaving. Don't know what that reason is. I was blown away by the list he read and the number of years they had here and then left. People in this town are talking, y'all. People are talking. And the one thing that they talk to me about in my restaurants, there seems to be a disconnect. Seems to be a disconnect between the people and the people that run the people of the town and people that run the city. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Randy. Next.
The last name is Rowe. I'm sorry. The first name may be Connor or Conan Rowe.
Good evening, folks. Is this on still? It sounds like it.
Yes, sir.
My name is Colin Rowe. We have a vacation home at 104 Pelican Court that we have had for almost 35 years now. It's a dead-end street. We share the end of that street with another lot, so not a lot of access to Pelican Court from that. Recently, a neighbor erected a barrier made up of posts and ropes and chains right along the pavement of Pelican Court. I mean, within practically inches of the pavement. When we first saw this barrier, we were concerned that it might inhibit emergency vehicles trying to get to our place. Our concern was stoked by the fact that we, not too long ago, had a home in another state burned completely to the ground. And we've also had to have emergency services come with cardiac problems. We know that time matters. Every second counts when you have an emergency. I spoke to our neighbor who told us that she had been told that it was okay to do this by several town officials, which really surprised me, that that would happen without any permitting or anybody being informed of what was going on. I've talked to the fire officials in the county. They've been very nice, but they tried to assure me that there would be no problem with fire vehicles getting to our place, that the road was wide enough. And despite their assurances, I'm not quite as sanguine about it as they are. I'm concerned. On top of that, I was told that they are a number of places in Emerald Isle where people are using this public right-of-way for their own purposes. The town has chosen not to do anything about it because they, quote, they want to let a sleeping dog lie. I think that's kind of bad right there. I have several problems with all this going on here. Another is the lot, and we had a lot here on safety at Emerald Isle. The only way that we can get out of our property with the shoulder blocked off, so there's no place to turn around, is to back out all the way to the end of the street to Eagle's Nest. On your right-hand side or left as you're going out, there's a lot of vegetation. You can't see any vehicles coming. So you talk about safety, but you've allowed this situation to be created that goes against everything you're saying about safety. Recently, some of that shrubbery was removed, which makes it much better if you're pulling out, but doesn't do anything to help if you're backing up. About 25 years ago, we were hammered by a bunch of hurricanes. 2 properties we had on the beach had all the dunes removed by the storms. We were allowed to have bulldozer push sand back up and replenish that, but we had to get permission from the neighbors on either side in order to do that. That should be the way it's done. Before someone's allowed to use public property, the other neighbors should be told it's going to request it in there and have the opportunity to speak their own. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rowe.
And if you, I'd like somebody to come by and take a look, and if you do, I'll have you in for a glass of tea or an adult beverage if you prefer.
Thanks, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Ronnie Watson.
Good evening, Ronnie.
3 minutes start.
Now.
Don't like me because I got a bunch of information. I was throwing it. Thank y'all for what you do. I've been there. But you know, I'm really, really concerned, and I've been here before to talk to you guys about our budget and how much we're spending. You know, when I look around and I see all the vehicles, we got 101 vehicles in the town of Emerald Isle. Either we own or we lease. And that's a lot. And Emerald Isle has not grown 1 square foot bigger than it was in 1954 when it was purchased. And I look at the budget and I see all the waste. And I want to say this. If the business people in this town ran their business the way the town does, we'd be broke in a year. And have you looked at the budget? I mean, here it is, right there. It's 1 inch thick. But also, you know, I'm the oldest permanent resident on Emerald Isle. My daughter is the first native-born child on Emerald Isle. And I've been here 61 years. I've seen it come from here to there, where it's at now. And you know, I don't have to be up here. But you know the reason I'm here? I care. And I care about this town. I love this town. And I came, like I say, my daddy brought me here in 1958 fishing. Then we moved here in 1962. Won't but 10 people living on the island, and I knew all 10 of them. But I can go on about that. I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but look at what we're spending. Look at what we're spending compared to other towns in Carteret County. We look at Atlantic Beach. Look at Pine Knoll Shores. Look at the town of Morehead City. And I've talked to y'all about this before. And look at Beaufort. And look at Cape Carteret. Look at Cedar Point. And we have more employees than any town in Carteret County except Morehead City. It's not that I'm against people working. I'm against waste. I'm against waste. That's what bothers me. And we got 101 vehicles in Emerald Isle, either owned or leased. That don't even make sense. And for what we've got to cover. Yeah, I'm for the police department, fire department. They do a wonderful job here on Emerald Isle. But I look at a lot of waste. And it really bothers me. Like I said, I don't have to be here. But the only reason I'm here is I care. And you need to wake up. You need to look at what's being spent. And I look at this budget, and I've studied this budget. Look at the waste that's in there. And it's a lot of it. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
John and Martha Priyancha. I may have mispronounced that.
Same thing with the next one. I thought that was an attendee list.
You're not the first. It happens all the time.
All good. Yeah, yes.
Altland.
Brad Allen. Here's Brad. Good evening, Brad.
Good evening. I too want to thank you for a job well done by the commissioners and the mayor. I spoke to you in March. My concern at that time was on the new proposal that we have on the beach called the carry-in, carry-out proposal. I was very concerned about losing a taxpayer-funded service that we have become accustomed to and about the beauty of our beaches. In April, I heard other citizens talk about the same thing. I did not speak at April. In May, a former commissioner also was concerned and asked the board to take a second look at this proposal. In June, I was out of town, but I did watch the meeting online, and ironically, the surf riders showed up with a great video. They were the ones that I was told were responsible for this new change in no trash cans on the beach. However, in their video, they claimed they had nothing to do with it. So I'm asking, what's going on? Is it working? Again, we lost a taxpayer-funded service. Our taxes are going up $20 next year for a new solid waste fee. I know that tipping fees have gone up. But with this new budget, and I do look at the budget also, on page 15, under new expenditures, we have a line item, $39,538, taxpayers' money to buy new trash cans for the end of the walkways. The old trash cans were not broken. They worked. The public service picked them up every day and dumped them. We now have something new to offer our visitors and our residents when they walk on the beach. It's called a stench. We have dog poop bags, dirty diapers, leftover lunches, and stale beer cooking for 3 days in those trash cans. Simmons & Simmons picks up trash Mondays and Fridays on the beach. Our town used to pick it up daily. On the 5th of July, the day after the 4th, every trash can was overflowing. Somehow on Thursday morning, they were emptied. How'd that happen? Who did that? Who paid for that? Because Simmons & Simmons did not pick them up. So, moving on, I know I'm out of time. I just want to say, in my opinion, in neighbors' opinions, I spoke to a visitor today when we were dumping our trash into that can. I said, hold your nose. He goes, I know. It's not working. And if you need any more proof, speak to the Emerald Isle Sea Turtle Patrol. They patrol 13 miles of beach every morning, every single day. And I have pictures of the trash that they have picked up.
Thank you, Brad.
Please reconsider.
Thanks, sir. Yes, ma'am.
John Wooten.
Good evening, Mr. Wooten.
Let's check this. Okay, we're good,
Yes, sir.
I couldn't get here last month when the budget was approved. But I would like to make the point now that the budget you approved is deceptive to the taxpayers. And I choose that word carefully, deceptive. 10 years ago, the town approved a 10-year debt of 1 penny of taxes for bike paths and additions to the rec center. That debt went away in this budget. That money is no longer required for debt. An amount of some $180,000 was slickly absorbed as spending money for this year. In all of the budget presentations that I watched, this fact was never mentioned. If you look hard on page something like 32 of the budget, you will see a minus $187,000 about the bottom of a long list of changes that offset the long list of new expenditures, like salary increases for fire and EMS personnel. Yet all of the budget presentations stayed up front. There is no tax increase. I submit that there has been a tax increase because at the end of the debt should have been returned to the taxpayers and then new expenses explained as new ideas or necessities, justifying a tax increase. What would you have done if the debt payment had one more year to go? How would you have dealt with it? You'll raise taxes. I guess I'm bothered most by the attitude and the slickness approach of the administration in presenting facts to the people. Second subject, I wasn't planning for this, but you're talking about public sessions and public hearings, public comments period. This town for 10, 12 years and other prior mayors had a session where a comment could be made on every subject as we went along, having an interface with the board before they voted. That has gone away. And I'd like to know why. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Kent von Herstenberg.
Good evening, Kent. Did she nail it? Good evening, sir.
Is everybody here? Good evening, everyone. First off, I'd like to know who stole the chairs? Because we got a lot of residents here, and they care about a lot of things going on. And mostly what I want to do is talk about what, we've been here for the last, permanent residents for the last 3 years and coming every month to these meetings. And as mentioned, we have a lot of questions. We don't seem to get answers. We've talked before about the rat problem and never got an answer. We've talked, and now we have a rat problem in Pebble Beach. Once again, we have a rat problem in the Point. Those are the areas that I live in. I live up Coast Guard Road. So I just don't know if anything's, we never get an answer. Secondly, again, the rules and regulations, we have a construction rule about the 35% rule. We see houses getting built every day and a lot of trees getting taken down, not following the ordinance. And I wonder who's policing this. Third thing, food trucks. We talked in February. You guys came with a idea. A lot of the food people questioned it. It was not brought to public comment. There are a lot of food trucks out here every day. I don't know who's approving them, but they're every day in a parking lot. They're in different locations. Are they all approved? We don't have answers. Again, the public cares. Maybe instead of coffee with a cop, we can have coffee with the commissioners, and maybe we can get some of these questions answered. Finally, I'd just like to ask one idea about Coast Guard Road. As we all know, nice matters, and we are at the top of the visitor season. I don't know if 35 miles an hour is the right speed limit for that road. I saw 2 geese almost get killed today because people just running the speed limit. I'd like to know what we can do to potentially get the speed limit down to 30. The speed limit obviously on Reed Road is 20 and 25, but we have 35 miles an hour on Coast Guard Road, which is the same as what Swansboro has on a 4-lane highway. So, I think we need to look at that. And in the meantime, can we ask that maybe we police the current 35 mile an hour speed limit? Because there are people gunning through that all the time. We have a lot of people walking, biking, using the access, but we are not really taking care of them because they are in danger of one person making the wrong move. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Taylor Ward.
Good evening, Paige. Okay, sir. Thank you. Hope she feels better soon.
Jeff Ward.
Good evening, Jeff.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you once again. At the last meeting, you guys probably remember that I brought up the canal, the Archers Creek Canal, and I talked to you about the condition that it was in. You know, Paige and I live on Live Oak Street on the sound side, and we've been there for 10 years, and I can tell you the canal's never been in the condition that it is right now. After reading a couple of articles in the Carteret News-Times, I can see that other folks are also concerned about the condition of the canal. I just want to go on record with a couple of things. If the culverts are replaced at Cedar Street and Lee Street without addressing the culvert at McLean-Spell Park, we're still going to have water flow problems. It's not going to fix the issue. If the dead limbs and debris are not removed from the canal, especially from like Holly all the way down to Lee, we're still going to have a significant issue as far as water flow, even if the culverts are fixed. The canal is a huge part of the stormwater management system for Soundside properties. If the canal does not function as it should and the flow of water is impeded, say during a hurricane, flooding is going to occur. Ask the Heverleys that live down on Cedar Street. It is my understanding that many homeowners' flood insurance on or near the canal could be affected by how well the canal works to manage stormwater runoff. CAMA may also have concerns if the lack of water flow affects the environment. Please consider reallocating some of the FEMA money from Hurricane Florence to get the canal back into the proper working order. As an example, we've got $80,000 that's allocated with FEMA funds to put a generator at the rec center. Why can't we use that $80,000 to get our canal back in shape? Replacing culverts without routine maintenance and cleanouts is a waste of money. Why did we not have the proper permitting for the Lee Street? It was a technical oversight, is what was said in the newspaper. Look up the definition of oversight. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Yes, ma'am.
Billy Farrington.
Good evening, Billy.
Hi there, I'm Billy Farrington. I live at 8108 Sound Drive. I want to thank all the commissioners, the town administrator, and the mayor. We had a meeting here today with about 30 people, 30 contractors, and grading contractors, engineers, surveyors, and we are a little bit upset about the change in the rules the last 3 or 4 months on the stormwater rules of the engineered stormwater plans that have been placed on all of us. It's a burden to us. And the silk fence that you have start making us do on all of our jobs. We use licensed people to do all of our work. And I think the public needs to be informed a little bit better on what we're doing with our surveys. Tells everything about what we're doing on the jobs. Tells everything about what we're doing with the vegetation area, the natural area. I don't know if there was just nobody on the board that has ever built a house, but to put a silk fence or a contractor's fence on a lot in Emerald Isle before you even construct a house to mark off the natural area is very hard. I mean, it's almost impossible to do. It's going to be torn down when you grade the lot. All of our workers are going to have to step over the fence when we're setting trusses. We have lulls that we use now. We have machines to move materials around. We don't have any room to park on the roads. We're parking on the lot. And now they're telling us we can't do anything with the natural areas. You're putting the fence up. It's like we're trying to work with all certified people who have licenses in North Carolina, and you don't trust us. The last thing I had to say is with the stormwater, I know I've lived here all my life, probably about, I think we moved here in 1965. Started living over here full-time in 1970. There's been stormwater problems over here on the Coast Guard Road since then and since the development started down there on the Coast Guard Road. There are a lot of lots in Emerald Isle that do not need an engineered stormwater plan. There's a lot of X zone lots that they're not in the flood zone. And now we're having to spend $3,000 or $4,000 on each lot to get a stormwater plan engineered that takes approximately 2 months to receive before we can start the job. So we're having to wait 90 to 120 days to get our building permits. We had 25 or 30 contractors in here today. We probably employ 500 people. Waiting that long to get a building permit, we're going to start putting people out of work. You know, there's 1 or 2% of people come down here, they cut down trees on weekends, they grade lots on weekends, and we're not doing that. 98% of what we're doing here is correct, but you are putting all these rules and laws in front of us for the 2% that's doing it wrong. I'll give you one way in my mind, I'm not thinking real clear right now, but people come to Emerald and they speed through Emerald, okay? Maybe 1 or 2%. Emerald police doing a great job, they give them a ticket, okay? Now, okay, you go into the stormwater and you go into the building area. We're getting ticket. You're ticketing everybody of the 100% that build houses on this beach, and there's only 1 or 2% of the people doing wrong, and that's not right. It's not right. So I think we need to go back and relook at some of the things that y'all changed. I know you were trying to do a good job, but we need to go back and look at them. And I would ask, I don't know what the procedure is to put us on the agenda for next month, but we'd like to be on the agenda and we could come talk to you as a group, the 35 of us, to talk to you a little bit about these problems that we're having trying to get permits.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you being here. Say again. Congratulations on your grandbaby being born yesterday, I understand.
Thank you very much. I was going to bring some cigars. John, did you bring cigars? No, I did not.
Okay.
One moment. Can I help you, sir?
I'd just like to follow up with Billy's comment.
Well, if you didn't sign up for public comment, I will give you an opportunity. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Volpe.
Good evening, Caleb.
Hello. Hey, I just want to say thank you to the commissioners and the mayor for listening to us builders today. I was a part of that group, and it was nice to get everybody together in the same room and hear us. We're here to represent us and to represent the issues that we're finding lately. We feel like there's not been a great amount of communication with the change of these rules. We're finding out with the new rules as we go to the permit office to pick up a permit, and then we're being told that something has changed, and we just did a project and it wasn't the same on the last one. And we're wanting further communication on these issues. But we were also asked today at the meeting to start becoming part of these meetings so that we were heard as well as the other people that are talking against us. And so we're here to give our representation as well. And we would like to be heard further as far as the silt fencing issues that are bothering our job sites. And then the stormwater, the new rules that have gone into place with the stormwater, we're getting licensed engineers to design stormwater plans. Then the town sends off that stormwater plan to another third-party engineer in Wilmington to get it re-okayed. And we're not finding trust in our local companies that do these licensed engineered plans as well. And I just want to be here to give representation to a group of us that are finding these issues. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Jimmy Farrington.
Good evening, Jimmy.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Well, I want to start off by saying thank you to all of you. We appreciate what you do and what you go through. And also, you didn't raise taxes this year. Ronnie's on your butt about the budget, and, you know, everybody deserves to gripe about the budget, and we do need to look at the budget. The town of Emerald Isle has not, and I know I'll probably get some boos from the crowd, has not changed that much. It really hasn't. We need to watch what we're doing. And I'll speak to you as the county commissioner that represents you that raised taxes this year by a penny. Okay, I'm going back to my budget and I'm gonna look at everything I can cut. We gotta watch out what we're doing. I mean, it really is important to do that. But my main point is to thank you all for all you do. But these rules, and I know we're coming in late to the game. I know you are getting all the gripes. Several years ago, people moved here to Emerald Isle and they complained about the planes flying over. Okay? The planes are going to fly over Emerald Isle. Okay? Another thing is Billy and I, my brother, we sat right here and jumped up and down when you took our trash racks away. And I love my rollout trash can. I love it. Okay? So there's a gripe and then there's fact. And the main thing that's happening right now, and I'm amazed. I watched meetings all the way back till April and listened to the comments, and I looked through the meeting and that type of thing. I feel so sorry for you guys. I really do. Okay, because I think it was said today in our meeting, about 90% of the complaints that you're getting are not even true. They're not even true. People, and I'm not arguing with the gentleman that spoke earlier. He made some good points. That's not what I'm trying to do. But you don't know what 35% is by looking at a lot when you drive by it on the highway. Okay? And again, I'm saying all this. I'm your county commissioner. I represent you. You might not know who I am. But I'm going to put it to the test tonight. Quit changing things. Okay? It's harder on you to change them. Let everybody have what you have at your house. Okay? When you built your house here, you cleared your lot and you put your stuff on it. You weren't required to have stormwater. You weren't required to have all these rules. And the more rules you make, the harder it is on you because the people are going to come in here and complain about it. All right? I want to tell you one other thing. When I became commissioner, I built my entire business, my landscaping business. 90% of it is on absentee homeowners. And right now, it just seems that the town has kind of turned their shoulder to an absentee homeowner because they don't have a clue what these rules are. They are the ones that pay the taxes for the schools. They pay all those things. I did not come in here to gripe tonight. But I'm telling you, this is ridiculous. It is a shame.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Jimmy. All right, sir, that was all that signed up. Did you have something to add? If you would come up so we can have it as public record, please.
I just want to agree with both the Farrington brothers of what we're going through here, building houses and the time it's taking to get permits and the regulations. I'm totally fine with 35% natural area. We can work around that. But this engineered stormwater that then has to be reviewed by another engineer, if we have an engineer stamp on stormwater, that should be sufficient. We've got an engineer that has taken the liability and the risk of saying this is the stormwater. We shouldn't have to go another 4 or 5 weeks with a review. I've got homeowners that have now had to refinance their building permits because it took, or their construction loans because it took so long to get building permits. Today they had to spend $2,800 to extend it because it took 4 months instead of 2 to 3 weeks to get a building permit. So you're costing Emerald Isle residents money, you're costing us money, and just like the Farrington brothers said, you're putting people out of work. So I just wanted to say that I agree with them.
Thank you. And before your full name and address, just for our minutes.
Okay.
Yes, sir, please.
Greg Hall with Ace Builders.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Is that anyone else? You said no one else? All right, thank you. And thank you all for being here, and thank you for your comments. Item 15, we'll ask for comments from the clerk, attorney, and manager. Ms. Deal? Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Zapp?
Yes, sir. So we want to thank our media director, Mark Cruz. We're up over 1,000% in engagement in the majority of our areas. We're headed to 50,000 people that are getting our information on Facebook. So we'd encourage the public, for anyone that is not signed up, please know that you can go to the town's website. You can sign up for our email notices, our text notices. You can download the town app. You can be a member or follower of us on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, as well as other outlets. If you ever have a question, please feel free to stop by Town Hall. We're there each and every day. We'd be glad to answer any direct questions, for example, some that came up tonight. Also wanted to let the board and the public know that our full-time planning director, who will be replacing Michelle Eitner, who left to go to the town of Beaufort, his name is Mr. Nathan Rue. Mr. Rue's first day of work is scheduled to begin on Monday, the 17th, coming up next week. Just as others had, I'd like to say thank you to the towns that worked with us on the Western Carteret fireworks celebration, which is a large undertaking, and over 8,000 people were estimated to be on site on Monday, July 3rd. We would be remiss if we didn't thank Emerald Isle Realty, who's our primary event sponsor, who contributed $15,000 to that event, as well as Mac Daddies and the families of those companies that helped put it on. Wanted to provide a public update on the tennis court resurfacing. We've had a contract in place for over 60 days at least, correct, Laura? We have worked hard to get up with our tennis court contractor. He responded this week today and told us that it would be at the earliest, late August, that they would be here to resurface the tennis courts due to the volume of work and the lack of individuals to execute that work. And that job would take up to 5 days to complete from start to finish. That would also include resurfacing of the tennis courts, striping the 2 tennis courts, and then striping the tennis courts to have 4 pickleball courts on that surface as well. In addition, we have gone out and prepped the basketball court that will also be restriped immediately adjacent to the tennis courts to reflect a 5th pickleball court. The HVAC repairs at the Parks and Recreations building, have an update on that. That was approved October of 2022 by the board. We had a 7-month delay waiting to get equipment. Unfortunately, we found out yesterday and today that that equipment is no longer going to be made available to us. We've altered and had to pivot. It's an increased cost of an additional $13,000 to take train equipment, but it is currently being scheduled to get replaced with a lead time of up to 4 weeks. That is a delay in the market and unfortunately was an unavoidable cost due to market price increases on HVAC units, correct? The Lee Avenue project, it is currently on hold due to the head wall process. As your chief executive officer, I'll take full responsibility for any oversight that was engaged in that project, as it is my office that has to approve and execute all 18 of the active projects, nearly $12 million. But I'm going to take part and parcel with that. For our representative from Moffitt and Nichols is here tonight, and our lead engineers are the ones that help us execute those permits. So that is a shared responsibility, and I'm assured by Moffitt and Nichols that that will not occur again. Additionally, along Archers Creek, which we want to identify, that we are working with CAM at the Division of Coastal Management. It was a demarc line on Lee Avenue that was, whether or not it did or did not receive a permit, it is going to get a permit. And I want to thank Mayor Holland and all the residents that were adjacent property owners to the Lee Avenue culvert process. We jumped through the hoops and made all of those informational addresses in person on Monday between the Sunday and Tuesday of the July 4th holiday, and they were wonderful. We answered all their questions. That has been submitted to the Division of Coastal Management, and that permit is in process. As soon as that permit is in hand, we will begin maintaining construction and finish the head wall work, which is the last remaining step on the actual culvert itself at Lee Avenue. I want to speak to the other 3 culverts that we have been fortunate enough to apply for and receive grant funding at $200,000 a unit times 3, or $600,000 in avoided tax costs to repair the following locations, which would be Cedar, Bogue Inlet, and Old Ferry. And I'll look to Doug, who's in the audience with us tonight, that correct, Doug, that there is not a requirement for a CAMA permit on any of 3 of those culvert crossings in Archers Creek, correct?
That is correct. No permit jurisdiction.
So that is where some of this confusion lies. So I want to thank Moffitt and Nichols for helping us resolve that and making sure that we are compliant as we move forward with whatever the national permit will be required with Army Corps of Engineers. Finally, want to let you know we are using a local engineer, Ethan Parker at Amped Engineering, to help us develop a bid for the $825,000 grant that we received for public beach access walkways. The 10 most critical walkways are set to be repaired with an opportunity of up to 14 on alternatives if the bid pricing comes back sufficient. The bad news that I do need to share is obviously this is a large-scale formal bid process north of $500,000, which is a federal and state guideline, which requires a more comprehensive bid package, which will drive the costs up on the actual bid package assembly. And as soon as we get that together, we'll be releasing it. So that's just the general updates on each of the major projects that we have happening. And if I missed anything, I'll yield to my 9-time award-winning finance director colleague to redirect me if I've skipped a shoot.
Thank you very much.
Roger that.
Thank you. All right, from commissioners, Commissioner Taylor.
Another good meeting again tonight. Thanks for coming out and speaking your mind and educating us on different things. And hearing from each one of you, just it helps us out. Most of us up here don't do every job that takes to run this town and make it happen. So we have to hear from different people so we can try to make the right decision for the town. So I appreciate that. I got to compliment one of our new hires, Mark Cruz. I was highly impressed with the video at Wade started out with the heroes. It said attention getter. So I'm excited to come to each meeting and see what new twist you're going to put on getting it going. So that's thanks. And thanks for shooting that fishing video for us. 2 months out, we'll be having our scholarship fundraiser fishing tournament again. So if you like to fish, please open enrollment is now open on the website, and you can sign up. It's $50 to fish, and last year or this year we awarded 6 $3,000 scholarships to local high school kids. So takes all those to raise that funds and stuff. So please go out and sign up to fish for the fishing tournament. And thanks to all the sponsors that do that. Once again, I can't thank you enough for coming out and talking. A lot of different angles happen with this town. I didn't realize that 6 years ago, all the way things turn and twist, but it's very eye-opening, and trying to do a best I can up here along with the rest of these people trying to make it happen for you. So be patient with us, and we'll try to do the best job for you. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Commissioner Finch.
I want to thank Laura and Sarah for your outstanding jobs that both of you do for us every day. Sometimes we take things for granted and we shouldn't, but you guys do an excellent job. And I want to thank all of our new employees that have just come on board. And lastly, I'd like to thank our fire and EMS and police for your professionalism. And you know what I mean. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Messer.
I don't have any comment.
Thanks, sir. Commissioner Vogel.
Well, I might sound long-winded after you said that. Thank you, Mark, for your work over the last couple of months as the public information officer. I just want to point out, the videos, they look beautiful. Our engagement is up tremendously, but what that means is we are educating the public. We are reaching thousands of people with those safety messages and filling in your holes and being a beach hero. And those are very important. Safety on the beach strand is near and dear to my heart. I want to, congratulations, Laura, Sarah. I want to also point out, not to overlook the PD and the law enforcement review they passed in the League of Municipalities. It's not easy to have a consultant come in and pick apart policies and things in your department, and your team have to go through that, and in the past with flying colors. So congratulations to PD. And fire and EMS, amazing job over 4th of July. You were up against some battles and red flags at a time when we had thousands of people here. So amazing. Thank you for all the public comment. I wrote every single one of them down. It is important. I heard a couple of times that folks aren't getting answers. I'm always available to chat and have a conversation. I know that the town staff is as well. We've met with many of you in the audience one-on-one at the town offices to talk through some of the concerns that you have. And we're always, always, always willing to do that, to provide answers, insight, give you data. That's our job. So thanks for being here. That's all I got.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Normeyer.
Thanks to all the builders and developers for coming out. Even that fellow back there from Langford Builders, I'll tell you, if Chris can answer solve all our problems for us, I know he can. So we'll make sure to include Chris. I'm going to put him at the head of the daggone table when we reassemble. and sort some of this out. But on a, I guess, a more serious note about the silt fence and stormwater and whatnot, my commentary earlier in the day back to Mayor was we have a very seasoned planner coming in. We have a new attorney on staff now that was not with us when we went through the UDO process over the last couple of years. So there's certainly nothing wrong with taking a day or a weekend day or an evening session in here with a new planner, a new attorney, put Chris at the head of the table, picking on Chris, but in a good way. And there's nothing wrong with asking questions and making sure that the UDO is written correctly in the spirit and intent we were trying to do. There's nothing wrong with that. And the other side of that coin, when I think of stormwater, it's a big deal. It's a huge problem. How huge? When you look at the $10 million worth of grants that we as a team have been able to assemble, $5 million of that is trying to fix stormwater issues. So understand the concerns of a builder or developer. I get it. And at the same time, I would trust the builders and the developers to respect the sheer volume of stormwater, the reality of the stormwater issues that we're facing. And somewhere in the middle, I'm sure we can meet and spend some time to talk about it. So, Ms. Farrington, thank you for sharing your thoughts at the podium this evening. But Chris is still going to chair the meeting.
That's right. He's younger.
That's right. He's got that Peter Frampton look too, so it'll be all right. See, now you got me.
Sing a Peter Frampton song.
Yeah, that's right. I got Peter Frampton on mine. So, on the comparison, just from a broad picture, the comparison, trying to compare, say, an Emerald Isle to an Atlantic Beach, or why do we have more people? It's a great question. Why do we have more employees than at Atlantic Beach or Pineville Shores or this town or that town? And it's really about scale. And what I mean by that is Atlantic Beach, great place, however many people they employ is their business. I'm not judging them. I'm just sharing with you scale. Atlantic Beach is about, I don't know, 2 to 3 miles, right? They have 2 to 3 miles of geography, half the linear beach we have. Atlantic Beach has half the permanent population that we have. The town of Emerald Isle has twice the volume of visitors that Atlantic Beach has. We have twice the linear geography to cover for fire, EMS, so on and so forth. We have 2 fire stations, both equipped, as Interim Chief Matthias was mentioning earlier, both equipped at a paramedic level so that they can get to you within that 4 or 5 minute time frame. And that's just the way our geography is. So as such, we do have more people than, say, other towns, but we are twice as big, and that's why, just from a overarching scale standpoint. I'm not saying that can't find something in the budget to save some dollars. I'm not saying that, just trying to present fact of scale. We are twice as big. The town, the municipality of Emerald Isle encompasses over 60% of both banks, and it's a fact. It's simply more geography, more than twice as many homes to patrol. So just wanted to share that. And Captain Matthias took some of my thunder. You know, I always cover some stats at the end. He covered about the rescues and whatnot. Very quick note on Captain Matthias. I only have one more thing. Quick note, Captain Matthias, you could hear in his voice his passion. Could you hear that tonight for real? Could you hear when he was talking about 11 paramedics and everything he had going on? They had camp today at Eastern Access, right? Yep, you had surf camp today or rescue camp today for the kids. Remember, Chief Walker retired not so long ago, Interim Chief Billy Mathias is going through a testing period right now. And I trust my colleagues all, and the people here all feel the same way. You're doing a great job. It's a big undertaking. You've got your heart in it. We can hear it. We can see it. And we're very appreciative. I just wanted to say that out loud in public because you're standing in the room tonight. So we appreciate you. I'm going to give him a hand. How about that? And I'll quickly close with a quick shout out to Chief Panzarella, Mr. Tom Rule with Community Watch on the crime stats. They do theirs based on the calendar year, so we're halfway through the calendar year in their counting. But both burglary, larceny, both of those stats are down 40 and 43% respectively. So thanks to our Community Watch program and to our law enforcement officers. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. All great points. Want another special shout out and thank you to the police department. Appreciate you guys very, very, very much. Couple of things, quick questions. Matt, Alicia, and just touching on little small things when I have the opportunity. Car allowance in lieu of a car, correct?
Yes, sir. So Alicia Sanderson had a car allowance. She was the only department director that was provided a car allowance, and by providing the new director with a vehicle was actually a cost saving. So the reason we made that change.
Not being contradictory, but just in the name of transparency, if there's a question can be asked. And do we have too many cars? Maybe, maybe not. Welcome the question. Could we save money here? Could we spend more money there? Yes, maybe. Always ask. I'm first off thankful for everybody being here. Thank you for all of your opinions, regardless of what they are. It shows you care. It shows you're involved, and it makes everybody to my left and right that do make the decisions, and the ladies and gentlemen up here with me that execute those decisions. It helps. We don't know it all. We have never built a house. I've never been a police officer, so I welcome those types of things always. And if there's an opportunity to answer a question here or there, I want to do that. I don't have a whole lot more to say. I do want to touch on Lee Avenue. The newspaper did, thank you News Times for keeping the public informed. Simple sentence of a technical oversight, or however it was stated, doesn't encompass it. Matt, I commend you for being willing to accept the responsibility and answer for it. As town manager, you do have to answer for everything that's done in the town while executing the town's wishes. I do not expect, won't accept you falling on the sword for getting bad information from more than one source. You handled it perfectly, in my opinion. I appreciate the call that I got that morning saying that we had a problem. I need your help. It was an honor to jump in the car, come meet with you at the office, go door to door, get the signatures we needed so as not to hold up that project any more than it already was. You're not perfect. You're not without sin, but you do a fantastic job and you should be recognized for that. So that's all I got to say about that. And that'll end my comments. A little different tonight. I am going to ask for a motion to go into closed session here very shortly. That'll excuse everybody in the audience tonight. Before I ask for that motion, I will say that the closed session to discuss personnel is the last item on the agenda. So when we come out of closed session, I'll also ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting, so you won't miss anything. Thank you all for coming, and at that time, I'll ask for a motion.
Make a motion to go into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318-11-6 to discuss personnel.
Motion's on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
We're now in closed session. Thank you guys for coming.